Evening, everyone. On the behalf of Team Dentist Channel Online, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Dr. Aditi Mishra, and I'll be the host for today's session on the topic Zirconia, a leap ahead, by none other than Mr. Balazs Vik. So, before starting with the session, I have few housekeeping notes to make. If you have any doubts during the session, you can ask your doubts and put the question in the question and answer box, and each and every question will be taken up at the end of the session. If you have joined us from Facebook and YouTube Live, you can ask us questions by commenting and we'll be answering them at the end of the session. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Balazs Vik. He is the Business Development Manager at Dental Direct GmbH, and he is a CAD/CAM specialist. Since 2010, he has been the all-rounder dental technician in conventional techniques, and since 2015, he has been the sales representative and product manager for Vita, Three Space, Three Shape, and Roland DG. Since 2017, he is the specialist in Zirconia and CAD/CAM systems. And since 2018, at Dental Direct as customer service specialist. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Is the sound correct? Do you hear me well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words and the introduction. Let me start my presentation to share with you my screen. Yeah. Please, Mr. Aditi, let me know if you see my screen.
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Yeah, you see my screen. Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah. So today I wish you to introduce our company, Dental Direct, from Germany, and I wish you introduce our material portfolio, especially from the Zirconia side. And from the aspect of the dentist, with a focus on the dentistry. So basically, we as a Dental Direct, we are a complete material manufacturer, and not just a manufacturer, but we are also working really closely with the newest technologies. And the newest CAD/CAM machines and software. And next to the Zirconia and general CAD/CAM materials, we are offering also implant components, which is made also by us, manufactured by us. And here in Germany, we have also our milling center. And that one altogether give us the knowledge and the complete portfolio, and from the other side, we are a worldwide company, so we are worldwide in 80 countries there and offering our services and materials. Like Miss Aditi introduced me, I'm a dental technician and also a business development and product manager since 2018 at the Dental Direct company, and I'm responsible in multiple areas about our material portfolio, and earlier I worked also in a customer service support and service department. So thanks to that, I have a really nice overview about all the material portfolio. As I mentioned, that we are, as a Dental Direct, we are a complete manufacturer, and we offer always a complete solution, a complete workflow for our customers, also for the dental technicians and also for the dentist. It means from the intraoral scanner till the cementation system, also go through the Zirconia implant components. We have a complete material portfolio, and this is also our politic that we offer always for our customers, for our partners, always a complete solution. In our opinion, it's a really important thing nowadays that as a dentist you have always in your hand a complete solution from A to Z. Otherwise, it's really hard to find the correct way between the different companies and different manufacturers. And in my opinion, this is a huge advantage for our partners and for you as a dentist. The question is turning now to the zirconia materials, which is now the direction in the actual market worldwide. I mean, is it more layered or still more full contour trams? When we analyze, and this is also a question for us as a manufacturer, we have to follow also the trend, and we are working permanently also on new materials. So this is a really interesting question also for us. And of course, therefore we analyze time to time our sales, and we figured out that everything goes in the full contour zirconia direction. It means we have perfect machines, milling machines, softwares, scanners. It means I would say 90% of the complete workflow is already available in digital form. And of course, that techniques we have to use also. It means if we have software solutions, if we have the hardwares, the machines for that, we wish to use that also. And for that, we have, of course, all the materials. If we analyze here in Germany, we are more or less traditional technicians and dentists. It means we have still more than 60% layered zirconia, but already we reached 33% of the complete full contour zirconia. But comparing with the US market, there is a huge demand on full contour zirconia, and they are working approximately or let's say first 80% of the dental restorations are full contour zirconia. It means they have, of course, a complete different thinking in the technology, and of course it requires different material solutions from that side. And it's a really important question in that moment, the choice of the zirconia material. So of course, when we look back 10 years in the past, we will see that the materials from that time are completely different what we have today. Today, with the actual zirconia material, we can reach without any hardback techniques, any veneering, layering techniques. We can reach really nice and high aesthetic cases and solutions. And of course, for us as a zirconia manufacturer, it's a huge thing to develop our materials in that way. Of course, it doesn't mean that we will forget all the conventional materials. They are still there because some of the markets working in a huge amount still with layering techniques. This is normal, of course. But of course, from the other side, we are focusing next to that on the high aesthetic, super translucent materials, and not just for single crown restorations, but we need also materials where we can achieve nice aesthetic, but also for full arches. Of course, when we speak about high translucent materials, we have to think about that comparing the translucency of the material, it should work with a different kind of stump. It means the dies. And later we will speak also about that topic, because this is for the final result. It's a really interesting and important thing. But now let's turn to the full contour Zirconia system. I think our opinion that this is the future for us. And basically, these are the two products, the Cube 1 and the Cube X multi-layer materials, where we put now our focus. And this is our full contour Zirconia system. When we speak about full contour zirconia, we have to analyze two really important aspects. One of them is the translucency. As I mentioned, of course, we have to think always about the background, the dye, the natural dye colors. It's a really important thing. From the other side, it's an important thing from the dentist side. How much should we preparate from a natural tooth to achieve that nice aesthetic? In my presentation, I compared, for example, the Emax. This is a well-known system, a really popular system. I compared the Emax material with our Cube 1 and Cube X materials, which are the requirements for that two materials. I mean, the wall thickness. As you see, for single crowns, for Emax LT crowns, you need minimum 1.5 millimeter to achieve the complete strength of the material, and also to achieve the nice aesthetic. And when we turn to small bridges, for example, 3-unit anterior bridges, you have to have also 1.5 millimeter wall thickness for the material to keep that still stable enough. It was a nice trend a few years ago, the Emax, but now, today, we have such a zirconia materials that we have even more material strength, and in the same time we can reach that aesthetic and the strength of the material with less wall thickness. What it means for you as a dentist at the end, that you have to preparate from the natural teeth even less. It's more than enough, 0.1 millimeter. And I, as a dental technician, I can say that this is always a critical question between the dentist and the dental technician. How much space do we have in the mouth to create our restoration? And this point, and also the aesthetic point, shows that the direction is also the zirconia material in that topic. Here you see once again the recommendation from Emax, from Ivoclar for their Emax material, of course with the flexural strength, which is approximately 360 megapascal, and the maximum what you can reach, this is around 600 from that material. And when we analyze the flexural strength from the zirconia, from our cubic zirconia material, we start from 800 megapascal. So it's much more stable, the material, and it's a really important thing, and of course it makes me confident to offer for dentists and for patients our zirconia material, when I know that this is a really stable solution. And next to that, just once again, not just a stable and reliable, but also a really aesthetic solution. And when I speak about aesthetic, it means in the material, cubic material, it means that materials has more cubic phase in the material. This is what you see on the scanning electron microscope picture. It has more cubic phase. It means the grain size it's a bit bigger. It means the natural light goes through easier through the material, and as a final effect, you will see in your crowns and in your patient mouths more aesthetic, more translucency in the material. It means in the cubic, which is our super high T HT material, you have 50% from that cubic phase, and at the cube 1, which is a stronger material, we have also 30% of the cubic phase. It means the translucency. This is what you see. The translucency for the cubics material, 49%. It means 49% from the natural light go through the material, and this is what you see here also on the pictures. When we speak about 1 millimeter wall thickness, you will see that really nice aesthetic and translucent effect. The translucency is just one aspect when we analyze that full contour materials. From the other side, it's also a really important thing, the stability. And for the stability, I have to say there is a fact that everybody, all the manufacturers are speaking about megapascal, the flexural strength of the material, but there is not a huge theme or topic, the fracture toughness, which is, in our opinion, even a more important thing. You have to imagine that in a box fight, the best boxer is not that one who can beat the biggest one, but the best box fighter is that person who can stand the beating. And this is what I mean with the fracture toughness. It means the material, the zirconia, it's nothing new. It will have micro defects, micro cracks. It's a natural thing. Sometimes you have to grind in the practice your zirconia crowns. Sometimes you have to grind contact points, some adjustment. This is a normal thing, and also it's happening in the dental laboratory. So when you don't have to touch a crown in your dental practice, you never know what was done in the laboratory before. And therefore, it's a really important thing that we speak about the fracture toughness. It means we have the cubic material with a lot of cubic phase, and it means for us at the end that that cubic phase and the growing grain size in the material will inhibit the increasing of the crack growing. It means we have a transformed metastable tetragonal phase in the material, and in that moment when a crack starts to go through to the material, it will reach once a bigger size, a bigger grain size, metastable tetragonal phase. And in that moment, in that point, the crack will stop. It means it will not go through the crown. What you will see that the crown will be still stable, even though if you grind it. Of course, that micro cracks, these are so minimal that you will not see that. Maybe just under microscope or under scanning electron microscope. But the cracks, even though you don't see that, will be still there, and it will means that with time it will increase if there are ones, and maybe just a year later or a half year later, you will have a problem with the crowns. And this is which makes our material so outstanding, because of that metastable tetragonal phase, and because of that crack stopping property about the fracture toughness. Here we analyzed once again with the general lithium disilicate our materials, and we saw also the same, that and we put focus on that our materials are really stable, really reliable, and they are working in a long term, of course. So it's a really important that the cases are working in the long term. And of course, how we reach and how we get studies, medical studies, that we have also investigate and working together with different universities. One of them is a university from Germany, Regensburg, and they do for us with our materials chewing simulation in a clinical aspect. It means they took a crown with a minimal thickness 0.5 millimeter and occlusally 0.59, and they did a massive stress test on our material, and they did that also in oral environment. It means they heated and cooled up the crowns like in the normal conditions, and they did with the general average 50 Newton chewing force, and that one, let's say a 5 years period with a 1.2 million testing chewing phase. And after that, we saw, and the university proved, that the materials were still stable. So it's a really important fact, speaking next to our zirconia materials. We analyze our zirconia now from the aesthetic and from the physical aspect. Of course, we have to see the different kind of concept in a color techniques. It means in a pre-shaded or in a white form. Of course, when we spoke about the full monolithic restorations, then of course an obvious and easy solution for all of us, and of course nice aesthetic solution, the multi-layer materials, where we have a patented technology to reach a really nice and high aesthetic. It means in a multi-layer form, you will have from the top until the bottom of the crown a complete nice layering without any without any borders, without any lines. You will just see a slight smooth layer in the materials. This is a really important thing, and to reach that effect and that result, we have main 5 colors in the material, and in between we have always a transition layer to make the complete colors much more smooth. Of course, we see also that there is a new trend on the market, the mixed type of multi-layers. It means some manufacturer mix the different kind of materials, the super high translucent material with an opaque material, and the incisal area they place a super high translucent material, and in the body, in the dentin area, they put some opaque material. and they try to reach in that way the aesthetic cases. Of course, the best optical properties has the 5 or 6 or yttrium materials, the super translucent materials, and of course the best mechanical properties has the opaque materials because they are strong. In our opinion, it's not always a good solution. For a single crown, I can imagine that it could be work very nice, and you can reach a really nice result. But as soon as we think about bigger cases, bridges where we have a connector between the crowns, it's not so easy anymore. That topic with the mixed type of multi-layer. Let me show you a picture from our nesting recommendation for our Cube 1 multilayer, which is a traditional multilayer material. And you can see here immediately single crowns. It's never a problem for the nesting to place in a blank in the mixed type of multilayer blank. But when I see that I have a bridge, for example, and I have multiple connectors where I have to put the connectors, or for example, an anterior bridge, I have to place sometimes also the connectors in the incisor part. They are higher. For example, you see that also on that part here. You see also that a piece of the connector in the incisor part. It means that connectors in the weaker part of the material, it means altogether that the complete bridge will be weaker on that part, on that area. So it's generally possible, you can do that, but from the other side, you take the risk that your connectors will be placed in an unstable and not enough strong area of the material. So therefore, we are not sure that this is a really good solution to increase the aesthetic, to reach more aesthetic. And of course, maybe today we not see that problematic because the material looks like the same, even more aesthetic you has thanks to that nice translucency in the incisor edge. But after years, it can happen that it will damage that works what we made today. Therefore, we also was thinking about a solution, to offer a solution, and we found a nice solution for that, and this is a liquid. It means we took a monolithic material, the Cube 1 multi-layer material, of course, and we took incisor X liquid. What we take for that, and it means with that liquid, where we apply on the incisor part, and with that part we placed really just on that area where we need that nice aesthetic and that nice translucency. It means we control the complete process, and we put the incisor X liquid just on that area where it's necessary to should be there. It means even though if I have a full arch, I will apply that just on the incisor part, not on the connectors. And thanks to that, I will have the same translucency, but without the risk that I will weaken the connectors. And that's a huge thing. It means with that solution, with that liquid, we can reach the same translucency value from the super high translucent materials, and still we are on the safer side. Of course, it's nothing. It's not everything about the multi-layer materials. We have sometimes still white materials in use. These are not old-fashioned techniques. Some cases we can achieve just with white materials, but it's absolutely normal, and therefore we have still white materials also in a high translucent material category, and also in an opaque form. And this is what you hear now. This is a complete indication portfolio. Basically, I would say today there isn't any case what you cannot solve with Zirconia solutions. And this is not just because of the material, but also because of the additional materials and also a shading concept. We are offering shading coloring liquids for that to do that much more individual. In some cases, the multi-layer materials, it's just easily not enough. You wish to have more characterization. You wish to do more individual cases, and for that you need special liquids, special effects. But this is also available in our complete workflow. It means we have, of course, in that point we are speaking before the sinterization, so it should be done by a dental technician. But at the end, as a dentist, you will reach that nice aesthetic result using coloring liquids in a pre-sintered form. You see that using different kind of effect coloring liquids, and finishing with our DD contrast stain and glaze set. And in that way, you can reach really a nice aesthetic case, an aesthetic solution, and also an individual solution. Another example, when I see that, for example, full arch implant cases where you have to do a gingiva restoration. It's not always possible with multi-layer materials. There we have still the white cube one material, and of course in combination with the coloring liquids and combination with the stained materials, you can reach still that nice effect. This is on our example in a white material colored with the liquids before the sinterization process. After the sinterization, we have a good base shade, a basic shade, basic color. And of course, after a characterization or just a simple glaze technique, you can reach the final nice aesthetic result. For that final aesthetic result, we have the contrast, color and form concept. This is basically our stain and glaze set, where we have different kind of coloring materials and different kind of texture materials. It means we are not just do the colorization, but in the set with the texture masses, we can build on like a micro ceramic layering, but just really in a minimal amount. And of course, next to that layering, it's really important the fluorescency. To reach the fluorescency, it's a demand, it's a requirement from the market today that a natural zirconia restoration should be look like exactly the same like a natural teeth, and it means also the fluorescency of a natural teeth. But this is already available, possible, of course, with the contrast material, with the combination of our Cube 1 and Cube X materials. It means from the Cube 1 side, we have a strong material for posterior or even a full arch cases, and we can reach that nice aesthetic. And with the Cube X, with a super high translucent material in the front area where we need a really high high aesthetic and really high translucency, we can do also the same depending on our cases. depending how much characterization should we know. About the material properties, this is, as I mentioned, something like microceramic material. So it means you can use the color materials, a color massive in a really thin layer, 0.02 millimeter. But next to that, if you have to build on, and this is what you see on the picture, if you have to build on some contact points or some occlusal contacts, it's also possible with that material. And this is, for example, how it looks, a final restoration with a really nice contact, with a really nice occlusal contact, with some characterization and a shiny surface. This is just once again a complete workflow from the sintered crown, the half of it already glazed, stained and glazed, and the complete restoration. When we see our materials, and when we see generally the zirconia materials, it's a huge topic on the wearing behavior of the materials. It means we are speaking about zirconia restorations, which are massive and really strong material, and we analyzed also how they react with years. What is the wearing behavior of the monolithic zirconia materials in general? And we saw on the pictures you see a scanning electron microscope. You see that with 3 years, the occlusal surface it's quite rough, and it can work like a sandpaper. It means if the monolithic crowns are not prepared in a proper way, it could damage the antagonist. What we did here, we analyzed, of course, the different kind of techniques, the different kind of polishing and glazing techniques regarding, of course, the natural teeth, the enamel of the natural teeth. It means on that sheet you see here the values of the enamel, the natural teeth of the enamel, and we analyzed the different kind of techniques with veneering ceramic crowns, with polished and glazed, with a combination. Just a glazed crown and just a polished crown. And what you see here, that basically the most effective way and the most gentle way for the natural teeth, for the antagonist, when you have your monolithic crowns polished. It means with the polishing technique, we can reach even better abrasion properties for a zirconia crown, like the natural teeth. That abrasion will not damage our natural teeth. So this is the best technique what you can do for a zirconia crown. Of course, for a polishing, you will have a special glossy glaze of your crowns. And why we speak and why I spoke before the stain and glaze techniques, because at the end we analyzed also our contrast material, how it works, and comparing with the glazed material, with the glazed crown, how it reacts, how it works together with our materials. As an example, we took 3 different kind of material from our portfolio, and we compared with one crown which was glazed with our DD contrast material, and we saw that the polishing crowns and the glazed, the contrast, dental direct contrast glazed crowns are on the same level. And it was proven by the University of Regensburg. They did also a long-term abrasion test. It means they put a metal pin and they analyzed like a chewing force in an axial way and also in a horizontal way. They do that abrasion test, and after that they analyzed how the crowns are looking like, and they saw that the glazed crown with a contrast material, there is a minimum or even nothing difference between the glazed and the polished crowns. So it means with the dental direct contrast material, we could reach also the same results like a polishing techniques. At the beginning, I mentioned that it's a really important thing, the cementation, and to choose the proper cementation for the proper for different kind of dye colors, dye shades. And for that, we have also a cement material, cementation solution, which is generally a universal solution. It's not just for zirconia materials, but it's available for all of the dental materials, all of the CAD/CAM materials, also from silicate, lithium disilicate material, and also for PMMA materials. This is from the restoration side. From the crown side, from the natural teeth side, it's also available for natural teeth, but also for implants, also for composite dyes. And why I mentioned that at the beginning, because there is also a try-in, and this is the most important thing when we speak about high aesthetic crowns, super translucent materials. It's really important thing to analyze first the background, the base color, what kind of color do we have for a dye, for a stump. And for that, we have that trying set. It means before you have to cement your crown, you can check the proper colors, if it fits with your crowns or not. You need some material which will cover your base, or it will be not necessary. And of course, in that sortiment, we have different kind of solution for that, from dentin colors to an opaque white, which is a really covering material, which has a really nice covering effect. And also, if we don't have to cover any strongly discolored dye or even metal crown, you can use a translucent cement. And this is a really important and necessary thing. Finally, just to summarize, as I spoke about now the materials, I mentioned that we have all of the components and all of the different kind of techniques, and of course, where we have the complete know-how in the complete dental industry, that we are working also as a milling center here in Germany. So it means we are not just producing and selling for end user, for customers, our materials, but we are working ourselves also with our materials. So we know exactly what we have to reach, what we have to achieve, what are the requests and demand of the market. And that knowledge we transfer and we give also for our customers. For our customers from all over the world, and also in your country. So if you wish to join to our Dental Direct family, you are always welcome. Directly come to you and also through our partners, our dealers. And from my side, I wish to thank you now your attention. And I give back the word to Dr. Aditi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Balas, for this informative presentation. And I'm sure that each and every person would have got their doubts clear already. So, before moving on to the question and answer session, let me just introduce all our participants to our organization. Meanwhile, I request all the participants to kindly put their questions. If you have any questions, kindly put your questions in the question and answer box so that we can solve your queries now. Okay, so this is our organization, Dentist Channel Online, with the motto Healthy Smiles That Leads to Wealthy Lives. We are proud to announce that we have come up with a new website, DentistChannel.Online. You can log into our website, and we cater all the dental professionals, dental fraternity, and we conduct a lot of webinars, workshops every month. And if you are a prime member of our channel, you can avail a lot of benefits out of it. Basically, our organization is India's first digital dental marketing company, which is striving very hard to bring all the dental professionals under one roof and creating opportunities for everyone. And being a prime member, you get a free e-certificate for each and every event that you attend. So this is one sample e-certificate. I request all the participants to kindly take a screenshot and save this number, send one text message on WhatsApp on this number so that you're added to our broadcast list, and you will be updated regarding each and every upcoming event that we'll be having. And for all the recorded videos, if you have missed out on our live session, you can go back on Facebook and YouTube channel to watch the recorded videos with the handle Dentist Channel Online. And you can follow us on Instagram. All the links have been provided in your chat box, and kindly subscribe to the Prime membership. The link is also provided in the chat box. Okay. So now let's move on to the question and answer session. Okay. So the first question is from Dr. Niyati. She's asking, could you compare and contrast Emax and Zirconia and advise the indications of the use of Zirconia over Emax and vice versa? Your voice isn't audible.
Now you hear me. Okay. So basically, it was a part of my presentation. One important thing, which is for sure next to the zirconia, it's a minimal invasive techniques. It means you have to prepare more, even less for a zirconia crown, like for the Emax. An Emax material is it's not a stable, such a stable material that with a really thin material wall thickness you can reach a massive and stable construction. And that was also in our presentation that when I compared, for example, a zirconia crown, where is more than enough 0.5 millimeter to prepare to get that stability for the material, which is compared with the Emax, it's between 1 and 1.5 millimeter. Of course, for single crowns, for veneers, it could be still a good solution, the Emax. And of course, in that case, if you have space enough, or if you have a case where you can prepare from a natural teeth enough, it could be a good solution. But when I see our practice, our experiments, I see that most of the cases, the problem is always the space. There is never enough space to prepare a nice and aesthetic crown, and then we are again next to the zirconia. Of course, and with zirconia, thanks to the multilayer, materials, you can immediately reach layered crowns. It means you have an even better aesthetic like with the Emax.
Right. So, next question. Does it take longer to remove a zirconia crown with a burr compared to a PFM crown?
Once again, please, the question.
When we are removing, if you have to, due to any reason, if you have to remove the zirconia crown, does it take longer than a PFM crown?
Um, Basically, no. When I see the complete workflow, it will not take longer. And the thing is that uh, thanks to the digitalization, it's everything much more reliable. You have always much more stable materials, and you have always a better quality standard and the reproducibility thanks to the digital way. And I think in that aspect, we can focus on more on the aesthetic, and we can avoid unnecessary work with the PFM crowns. And in my opinion, everything goes in that direction.
Right. So there is one more question. Doctor wants to know that while shading, while putting a color on the zirconia crown or putting a shade on the zirconia crown, will that procedure make the zirconia crown weaker?
No, no, basically no. If we have a strong zirconia base as a crown, and we put the color or the glaze on the surface, of course the glaze it's a much more ceramic type of material. So that ceramic material has other material properties. Of course, it's a bit weaker, but it will be not weaken the zirconia itself. And as I showed on the last slides in my presentation, when a contrast material, our material was applied, we can reach also the same quality, the same stability, like just easily a polished zirconia crown.
So next question is zirconia coping. Is zirconia coping important? Since zirconia ceramic is very strong, so do we need the coping as well?
In some cases, yes. There are some cases, for example, implant cases, or when you have strongly discolored dyes, metal dyes, or a natural, really discolored stamp or dye, that you need an opaque material. It means with the opaque material, you can create just a copy crown, a coping, and that coping will never have that nice aesthetic what you have to achieve. It means you need a strongly discolored dye with an opaque coping. You need still an aesthetic case. It means you have to layer that with ceramic. So it's necessary, still necessary in some cases.
Okay. So next question is, since the fit, I mean, the marginal fit of the zirconia crown is around the, gingival margin. So does that have any hazardous effects on the gingiva?
No, basically the zirconia is even better like before the PFM crowns. So it's absolutely bio compatible, the material. It doesn't react in any kind of way with the gingiva. Of course, it requires a better and much more precise preparing techniques. But if it was done once, you will have never problems with the gingival part, any
And
irritation or something like that.
right.
Thank you.
So next question is it okay to grind on a zirconia coping without water spray?
No, generally, we always recommend to grind zirconia with water cooling. It's a really important thing because the zirconia material reacts really, really bad for the heating, for overheating. And this is correct for the complete workflow, not just for grinding, but also for ceramic layering. So you have to pay attention always on a heating phase, on a cooling phase, because the zirconia itself lead the heat really bad. It means if you overheat the material locally
Mhm.
on one point, you will create automatically a micro crack, or even not just a micro crack, but even a complete crack in the material. And therefore, we recommend use always turbine or at least water cooling in some way with a sponge, or cooling just the crown itself. So it's important. Yes.
So next question is which tooth preparation is like indicated for zirconia crowns? Is there any
Um,
specific which we should follow so that we get a better result?
Of course, for the Zirconia material, comparing with the PFM crowns before with metal crowns, it's not flexible. It's a rigid material. It's a really stable material, but not flexible. It
Mhm.
means the material it has a stable material property, but it needs, of course, support from every side from the preparation. It means the best way for the preparation always work and prepare the dies with the shoulder. It means the crowns in that way will have all around a really nice and perfect support. And if you prepare with shoulder, it will be stable in a long term. So we recommend to prepare with shoulder, of course.
Right. So, and next question is, should we go for a tooth? I mean, if you're putting a zirconia crown, so which case would be better if we are using it on an implant or if you're using it on a tooth?
Basically, it doesn't matter. It's depending always on the case. So if you have sometimes such a case missing tooth, what it's not possible
Mhm.
to solve with zirconia, maybe more than 3 or 4 pontics, it will be required. It's not possible to do that with zirconia because of that huge mess of the material. Then you need implant. So the zirconia is working exactly good with zirconia like with natural tools.
Thank you so much, Mr. Balaz, for clearing all the doubts. And you have already cleared my doubts as well. So thank you so much for being with us this evening. And
Thank you very much.
before winding up the session, do you have any takeaway note for our participants?
I just wish to thank you also for your attention, for the invitation. It was a pleasure for me to introduce my company and myself. I'm looking forward for the next session, of course.
Yes, absolutely. The next session we have on 2nd February. So tune in to our channel and we'll see you on 2nd February. Thank you so much, Mr. Balaz, for coming today.
Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you a nice evening.
Yes. So with this, we are ending today's session. Thank you to all the participants for their patient hearing. And with this, we are ending the session. Thank you and have a great night.